Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to take complex data, break it down, and give you those sharp insights you need fast.
Making you well-informed, that's the goal.
Exactly. And today, we're looking into something maybe not everyone thinks about daily, but it's absolutely vital in healthcare: patient warming systems.
Right. Crucial during surgery and critical care, really indispensable.
Their work behind the scenes maintaining a patient's core body temperature. And that's not just comfort, is it?
Oh, definitely not. It's fundamental. It helps prevent complications, speeds up recovery. Honestly, it can be life-saving.
So, yeah, an often overlooked but really rapidly expanding part of global healthcare.
Couldn't have put it better.
So, our mission today, a deep dive into the global patient warming system market. We've got a comprehensive report here, projections from 2021 right through to 2033, verified data.
Solid source material.
And we want to pull out the key takeaways for you, understand what's driving the growth, spot the regional trends, basically give you the story behind the numbers.
And looking at market dynamics like this, it gives you more than just financial insights.
How so?
Well, it's like a window into broader healthcare trends, right?
Right.
You see how care is getting more sophisticated, how technology helps improve outcomes everywhere. It reflects medical evolution.
That's a great perspective. Okay, let's dive in then. Let's unpack some of these numbers because, well, the money involved is pretty substantial.
It really is.
The global market in 2021, it clocked in at over 1.8 billion US dollars. That's billion with a B.
Already a big number to start with.
Exactly. But the growth forecast is where it gets really interesting. The report sees it climbing past $2.4 billion by 2025.
Okay.
And then, look at this, it's projected to almost double that initial 2021 figure, hitting nearly $4.3 billion by 2033.
Wow, nearly doubling.
Yeah, and that consistent demand translates into a pretty healthy compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of 7.4%.
Right. And that 7.4% CAGR, that strong growth, it isn't just happening in a vacuum.
It's driving it.
It really ties into two big connected trends we're seeing globally. First, just more surgeries happening worldwide.
Okay, makes sense. Aging populations, better access.
Exactly, all of that. Plus, surgical techniques are advancing. And second, there's this increasing focus on advanced perioperative care.
Perioperative.
Yeah.
So the care immediately before, during, and after surgery.
Precisely. The whole patient journey around the operation.
Yeah.
And keeping that core body temperature stable is, well, it's fundamental to making that whole process safer and more effective.
So it's really becoming a standard of care, a global priority.
Absolutely. These systems are a cornerstone of improving patient outcomes. They're not optional extras anymore.
Got it. Integral to best practice. Okay, so we have a strong global growth picture. Now, where is this growth actually happening? Let's break it down by region, maybe start with the big established markets.
Makes sense. North America is usually the place to begin.
Right. North America, often that benchmark for advanced medical tech. So in 2021, the market there was worth almost $459 million.
A significant chunk of the global total.
Definitely. And it's projected to hit nearly $600 million by 2025 and then push past $1 billion by 2033.
Wow, crossing the billion mark.
Yeah, with a steady CAGR, just over 7%. So solid growth for a mature market, but what's the story within North America? Does it look different country by country?
It does, actually, and that's where you see some interesting dynamics. Unsurprisingly, the U.S. is the giant, right? Makes up about 70% of the region's market.
Okay.
And it's growing steadily, projected around nearly 7% CAGR, hitting over $717 million by 2033. Pretty standard.
But see sense of but.
Well, the interesting part is Canada. It actually shows a faster growth rate, over 8.3% CAGR.
Huh. Faster than the U.S. Why do you think that is?
It could be a few things. Maybe Canada's more centralized public health system allows for quicker system-wide upgrades, faster adoption of newer tech across the board compared to the more, let's say, fragmented U.S. market.
That makes sense. Policy driving adoption?
Possibly. And then you have Mexico, also growing, but at a slightly lower rate, just under 6% CAGR. Reflects a different stage in their healthcare infrastructure development, perhaps.
Okay, so that Canadian acceleration is definitely something to watch. Now let's hop across the Atlantic. Europe. It's got such diverse healthcare systems, different economies. How does that play out in this market?
Yeah, Europe's definitely not monolithic. The overall picture is strong, though. It grew from about $366 million in 2021, projected over $482 million by 2025, and heading towards $837 million by 2033. The CAGR is solid, around 7.1%, similar to North America overall.
Okay, similar overall growth.
Yeah.
But I imagine the country breakdown is varied.
Very varied. You've got powerhouses like the UK and Germany really pushing things forward, both growing well over 7% CAGR. The UK is actually projected over 8% CAGR.
Over 8%. Strong.
Yeah, hitting over $150 million by 2033. Germany's not far behind, nearly $200 million by then. Reflects serious healthcare spending and modernization.
Right, in places like France, Italy.
Steady growth there, too. Consistent demand. CGR is around 6.3 to 6.6%. Russia also adds a significant chunk, growing near 6.5%.
So the major economies are performing as you might expect.
Largely, yes. But here's a fascinating little detail.
Go on.
The report lumps many smaller countries into a rest of Europe category, and that category showed the highest growth rate on the whole continent.
Really? Higher than the UK or Germany?
Yep. An impressive 10.94% CAGR. It's starting from a smaller base, obviously, about 8 million in 2021, but projected to reach over 22 million by 2033.
Wow, nearly 11% growth. What does that tell you?
It suggests these smaller economies are making really targeted, significant investments, maybe catching up, aligning with EU standards, or perhaps specialized companies are finding niches there. It shows growth isn't just in the big players.
That's a fantastic point. Even smaller segments can be real engines. Okay, established markets covered. Now, let's shift gears. Where does it get really interesting, the emerging powerhouses?
Absolutely. And Asia-Pacific is front and center there, a true powerhouse.
The numbers certainly suggest that. The region was already at almost $595 million back in 2021.
Huge base already.
Projected to hit nearly $778 million by 2025. And then, get this, an incredible $1.33 billion by 2033.
Over 1.3 billion. Wow.
Yeah, the overall CAGR is just under 7%, but the sheer volume is massive.
And within Asia-Pacific, you see this really interesting mix of mature markets and rapidly developing ones playing out.
Lead by
China, no question. It's expected to more than double its market size, from about 185 million in 2021 to almost 430 million by 2033.
huge jump.
Yeah, driven by population, rising incomes, massive healthcare investment. The CAGR there is over 7.3%.
Okay. And what about Japan? Highly developed market.
Right. Japan shows more moderate growth, still significant, around 5.9% AGR, but it reflects a more saturated market, maybe focused on incremental upgrades rather than massive expansion.
Makes sense. But you mentioned rapidly developing. India, perhaps.
India is showing incredible momentum, really impressive. It's projected to more than double its market, too, from around 80 million in 2021 to over 198 million by 2033.
And the growth rate.
That's the kicker. India boasts the highest regional CGR, almost 8%.
Almost 8%. What's fueling that?
Expanding middle class, definitely, more medical tourism coming in, and big government pushes to improve healthcare access and quality across the country.
Got it. Any other standouts in APAC?
Taiwan is worth mentioning. Really strong CGR, almost 8.4%, likely down to their focus on adopting medical tech and specialized care.
Okay.
And then you have South Korea, Australia, Singapore, all showing healthy growth, too, generally over 6.5% CGR.
So Asia-Pacific isn't just one story. It's China's scale, India's acceleration, Japan's maturity, and strong growth elsewhere. Very dynamic.
Exactly. A really complex and fast-moving region.
Okay, moving south now. Let's touch on South America. The market there hit nearly 147.5 million in 2021. Projected to get past 338 million by 2033. That's with a healthy CAGR of around 7.26%. So, solid growth here, too. What are the key drivers?
Well, Brazil is the dominant force, no surprise there. Largest economy in the region.
Right.
It's projected to go from about 54 million in 2021 to almost 130 million by 2033. That's a 7.56% CAGR, driven by a growing private healthcare sector, demand for better services.
And beyond Brazil.
Argentina and Colombia are also showing really robust expansion, both growing over 7.5% CAGR as well.
So, similar strong growth there.
Yeah, it suggests pretty significant investment across the board in modernizing healthcare systems. Even places like Peru and Chile, while maybe growing a bit slower, are still showing steady demand.
It seems like there's a continent-wide push to improve care standards.
It really does underscore that commitment, yeah, even with diverse economic situations.
All right. Now let's turn to two regions showing, well, incredibly strong growth, almost like indicators for future global health investment, the Middle East and Africa.
Definitely high growth frontiers.
Starting with the Middle East. Valued just over 131 million USD in 2021. Expected to jump to over 177 million by 2025.
Okay.
And then push past 332 million by 2033.
Right.
That's with a strong CAGR of over 8.1%. Quite a trajectory.
It really is. And if you step back and look at the Middle East, these numbers, they paint this picture of really rapid development.
Driven by.
A lot of it is significant investment in healthcare infrastructure, often tied into these bigger national plans for economic diversification.
Like Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030.
Exactly like that. And Saudi Arabia really stands out here, projected to nearly triple its market value, from about 42 million in 2021 to over 115 million by 2033.
Triple. Wow.
Yeah, with an impressive CAGR of almost 9%. That's Vision 2030 prioritizing healthcare modernization, medical tourism. It's all playing out.
That's huge. Any other major players there?
The UAE is another one showing rapid expansion, also around an 8.8% CAGR, again, commitment to being a hub for advanced healthcare. Turkey's also growing strongly, near 8% CAGR, and Egypt, Qatar. Solid growth, too, above 7.8%. It's a region where you see state backing really driving medical advancement.
Strategic national visions making a tangible difference. Okay, finally, let's talk Africa. The growth story here seems particularly compelling.
It really is exceptional.
The market surged from around 122 million in 2021, projected past 191 million by 2025, and then to an amazing $401 million by 2033. The CAGR, a remarkable 9.7%.
It's almost double-digit growth. Phenomenal.
It's genuinely one of the fastest growing regions globally for these systems. What on earth is driving that kind of surge across such a diverse continent?
It's a fantastic trajectory, and like you said, it tells us so much. Nigeria is leading that charge with an incredible 10.2% CAGR.
Over 10%.
Yeah, expanding from about 43 million in 2021 to almost 150 million by 2033. South Africa is close behind, nearly 10% CAGR too, and even the rest of Africa category shows a healthy 8% CAGR.
So it's widespread growth.
It is. And this rapid growth in Africa, it's not just, market numbers. It's about fundamentally addressing unmet medical needs.
Building infrastructure from the ground up.
Exactly. Building out healthcare infrastructure, sometimes leapfrogging older tech straight to modern solutions. It signals increasing access to basic surgical care, which is huge.
What enables that?
Growing urban populations, rising economic capacity in places, and often significant international aid and investment aimed specifically at strengthening health systems. It's like a foundational build-out of modern surgical capabilities.
That's incredibly positive. Okay, so we've toured the world. Let's synthesize. What does all this data mean for you, our listener, whether you're in the field, an investor, or just watching global trends?
Well, the first clear takeaway is the consistent, strong global demand.
Driven by those two key things. More surgery is happening everywhere, and this critical need for advanced perioperative care. It's not niche, it's fundamental.
Couldn't agree more.
And the overall numbers bear that out. From over 1.8 billion in 2021, heading towards nearly 4.3 billion by 2033. That global CAGR holding steady at 7.4%.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is seeing this consistent growth everywhere. It's not just one region booming. It's a global shift in prioritizing this aspect of care. You see the established markets, North America, parts of Europe, steadily expanding, upgrading.
Maintaining their high standards.
Right. But at the same time, you have these emerging markets, Africa, the Middle East, parts of Asia, experiencing truly explosive growth.
Catching up fast, investing heavily.
Exactly. It shows this universal recognition of how important these systems are for patient safety and recovery. It creates opportunities for innovation, but also, crucially, it means real advancements in global health equity.
That's a powerful point, this dual-track expansion.
Well,
Okay, so there you have it, our deep dive into the patient warming system market. Clearly robust, clearly growing worldwide. A really positive story for this essential tech.
absolutely. And considering these trends, this widespread growth, it leaves you with a thought, doesn't it?
Go on.
Well, it raises a big question for you to think about. How will this global expansion, especially in those rapidly developing regions we talked about, how will it further shape patient outcomes? How will it drive innovation? And ultimately, how will it change access to advanced medical care around the world over the next decade?
A future definitely worth watching.